All right, taking a quick break here to make a short video on that great setup that we caught this morning. So here on the charts, this is on Trade C. So probably if you're on X, this is going to more closely align to what you were looking at. I took the trade on Ninja. But we were watching and we were talking a lot this morning about this 15-minute 200 EMA. We got a rejection here, and then we're watching it as price came up here. It looked like we might reject it, and then we got this big bullish candle here, which swept this high that was made a bit before New York open. And then we reversed. It was just a big pivot. And I was still watching that 200 EMA on the 15-minute chart to see if it was going to act as support. We got a bit of a reaction. This is what you're seeing here on the 2000 tick chart on the right side. This bounce here is a reaction to the 15-minute 200 EMA and the 50 EMA on the 2000 tick chart. Once we had that initial reaction, price reached up into this power block here. Okay, and then just dumped, inversing this bullish fair value gap completely. So we decided we were going to wait and watch for this candle to close and see if it inversed, which it did. So then I was expecting for price to come back. Let me draw in the inversion. Okay, so that would have been inversed right here. We'll color it purple for now because it was an inversion. We didn't have the bearish fair value gap yet, but we were watching for price to come back, test the inversion. But what we got in the 15-minute here, right here, was a bit of a doji candle, right? Third candle, which then left behind this bearish fair value gap. So we had an inversion, plus now we have a confirmed bearish gap on the 15-minute. And so we love to take our setups in those gaps. What I also liked about it is this peak here, right here, was coming up and pretty much retesting the area of the 15-minute, again, that 15-minute 200 EMA. And we got a really strong rejection out of the fair value gap, the higher time frame gap, and the 200 EMA on the 15-minute. There's some power blocks over here. We've got some alignment, an area that retest and reject from. So I was comfortable taking my entry as price rejected away right here. This is called the early entry. And so I jumped in here and I wrote it down just for, it was just over just over $1,000 for right about here is kind of where I jumped out. So right in this neighborhood here. I want to make sure I'm calculating that right. Oh, no, sorry. I have NQ on the brain. For my trade this morning, just over $1,000, which is 20 points on ES. So I jumped out right in this neighborhood here, I'd say. Again, just over $1,000 there on that trade. So this is the early entry, okay? But if you miss the early entry or you want extra confirmation, the higher probability setup here would have been us to break below the 200 EMA, have a pullback, which we did, and then look for a signal rejecting away from the 200 EMA, which we got right here, all three, 1, 2, 3, triple red. I'm okay with this signal candle. It's engulfing the peaking candle, nice bearish, and you could target 2R on that. We called out some hourly targets. Let me just go over here. And 15-minute, looks like we hit everything. So I called out these gap candles down here as a potential target, and earlier in the session, and price came down and hit them. So if you set 2R on that entry, that would have been a good trade. But if you wanted to ride it down further to what we we're thinking of for target, we've got these gaps. These were completely unmitigated. They hadn't even been wicked into. Okay, so if you wanted to ride that down, you could have ride that down for a nice 30-point trade. That's $1,500. Settlement was down in this area, so you would have gotten, if you gotten out of settlement, you would have been just over $1,000 on this entry as well. The next setup, if we're starting to look at power blocks, we had this power block here, right? Red down close candle that drove price higher into the high. So I'm just going to bring that across. We'll call that a bearish power block. We have a few in here, but we didn't break through these until here. And so you can see we broke through, came back, retested it, and then you got another continuation entry here. Right, triple red. We activated this power block by breaking below it, pulled back into it, got a signal right here. There's a lot of momentum in this move, which was great. So this would have been a good one. 2R would have been right here. So you would have hit full target. Then you've got, if we're just following the power blocks on their way down, you've got this red candle. Again, then we take the low of that up close candle. So we got another power block here. And then I needed, like, I was in a evaluation and I needed just like a little bit more money. I think I needed $100 and something, $150. So I took this trade. This is a two-legged pullback. And so we pulled back to the 21 EMA, got leg 1, leg 2, nice bearish candle, jumped in. I didn't have power band confirmation, but given the momentum I was seeing in this setup, in this down leg, I was more than comfortable with that. And we had some very clear targets below us. So I did catch this, jumped out once I hit my passing amount for that account. But if you were to wait for the signal on the power band, we didn't get it here. You would have gotten it here. And we talked about this trade. So you could have covered right here and target 2R, which would have been right here. So you would have had to ride through this. Okay, but it did come and hit full 2R. If you took this because of high momentum, you could have tightened your stop and gotten out earlier. Typically when we're coming into a big gap area like this, the midpoint, which you can see, we came around right to the equilibrium of that and reacted. So that actually would have been a safe spot to take out your profit. But you still would have hit your target of 2R either way. Wow, what a strong move down. Anyways, just wanted to share that quick video with you on the logic between this setup this morning and also the continuations if you were looking to catch some of those.